Welcome to Night Ultra. If it's your first time here, I'm your host, J Mac. If not, welcome back. Today, we finally have the spot Ethereum ETF approved. Now, what does that mean? Well, we can already access Ethereum through crypto wallets, brokerages, and decentralized exchanges, right? In this video, we're going to expose the benefits of a spot Ethereum ETF and see what this means to the crypto industry and other altcoins. We have Anthony Pompliano, who's a tech investor and entrepreneur at Professional Capital Management. He's going to speak on the Ethereum spot ETF approval today and give us a little bit more insight in this video.
Begin trading today. The SEC approved ETF applications from 21 shares: Bitwise, BlackRock, Fidelity iShares, Benek, and Franklin Templeton, along with Invesco Galaxy. And joining us right now to talk about all of this and what it means for the crypto industry and what is now we'll describe as a milestone, another milestone. Anthony Pompliano is here, founder and CEO of Professional Capital Management. Pomp, it's nice to see you.
Good to see you.
You think this is a game changer or not really? You seem less excited this morning than when you were here on Bitcoin Day.
Yeah, well, let's go look at the Bitcoin ETF. I think, historic thing, probably the best ETF launch in history. One of the interesting stats is that the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF has had more net flows than QQQ year to date. Right, so just massive flows there, over $500 million just yesterday alone. And so I think what a lot of people say is, well, that was the first one. Is the second one going to be as big? And I don't think that's true, right? If you just go and, before I came on, I looked at all the major news sites. People aren't talking about it as much. And so the media attention, the hype, all that stuff isn't really there. And so it brings you to the question of why are people not talking about it as much? And I think part of the challenge for Ethereum is that the story isn't as clear. It's very clear with Bitcoin, right? It's digital gold. When we start talking about Ethereum, you start talking about a technology platform. There's a lot more competition, et cetera. But if you go and you talk to the people at Bitwise, they're launching ETH today, what they would tell you is, well, actually, there's diversification. People on Wall Street love that. And so maybe actually the benefit that Ethereum will have is just people say, well, I don't want to have just one. I want to have a couple of them. It's Bitcoin, it's Ethereum. Let me do like a 70-30 split, and that'll be good enough for it. And so I think that we really got to see what these flows are going to look like because the story isn't as clear.
In the first week of the Bitcoin ETF release, I believe we have 4.6 billion in volume compared to the Ethereum spot ETF. I think we're roughly at 1 billion.
You're not going to get access to the staking. So the cash flow that people really like about Ethereum isn't available to these kind of ETF holders. And I think that the flows itself are not going to be nearly as big as Bitcoin. And so the question is, how much impact on price is this really going to have?
Walk us through just what the flows look like on Bitcoin to the extent that that's going to be a model at all. Even if you said the 70-30 idea that you're going to diversify in that way, you'd say, well, then should you just say that, this is going to be 30% of whatever that was?
Yeah. Well, I think that the flows on the Bitcoin side, some of these funds have 10, 15, $19 billion in them, right? I mean, these are real money that's moving into these things. What I do think is interesting about the Ethereum ETF approval, and probably the thing I've taken away the most, is less about Ethereum and more about the rest of the market. What this signals to me is that all of the altcoins are going to come to Wall Street. It may take a while. There may need to be some regulatory clarity. They may get treated a certain way. But these things are going to come to Wall Street. And so what went from a 0 to 1, is it going to be Bitcoin, is it not, is now going to be a crypto industry. And the reason why that becomes interesting is because people who have this portfolio model or portfolio approach are going to...
He's right, because it's expanding already to this date. I think we have Bitwise, Vanek, Global, X Blockchain, Ark Invest, Grayscale, Wisdom Tree, and then you got Fidelity, BlackRock. Even on my Fidelity account, you can buy Bitcoin or Ethereum ETF. So it's starting to become more common. And I think it's actually a safer option for those that aren't really tech savvy, because you could easily, if you don't understand crypto, you could send it to the wrong wallet address, and it's not like a bank you can call customer service. You don't have the ability to correct that action. As the tech advances, there's more things that'll be user-friendly for people coming into crypto. But right now, I think this is a great thing because it allows people who aren't as tech-savvy to be able to get in and invest. And not only does that, it allows larger corporations, because crypto is extremely volatile, it gives them the ability to invest and put it on their balance sheet and have those regulations and protections that you do from traditional markets. And I think that's going to be great moving forward to getting a lot of other altcoins and other cryptos considered as a sound investment vehicle opposed to speculation.
Start to apply that to all of crypto.
For those that don't follow all of this, does Ethereum ultimately, to you, have the same sort of restrictions in terms of how many Ethereum there ultimately will be on a relative basis to the way Bitcoin is set up?
Yeah.
Because that to me is a fundamental issue.
Yeah, it does not. One of the issues that I think the critics have with Ethereum is that the monetary policy mimics much closer to kind of the U.S. dollar, right? There are these periodic decisions as to whether the monetary policy is going to be more constrictive or not, how many are going to be available, et cetera. So again, the story isn't as clear. It's not as certain. What I do think is also interesting is that Ethereum long has said, hey, we're the smart contract platform, and they were the dominant one there. But now there's a lot of competition, right? It's not the fastest. It's not the cheapest. There's these other blockchains that have come forward. And so I actually am of the belief that there will be inflows to the Ethereum ETFs. The Ether price will go up, but it's just not going to be to the magnitude that people kind of are hoping for because of these other pressures.
What is the Pomp family going to do as it relates to all of this?
I'm highly biased. I sold all the Ethereum that
I was just gonna say that. Let's keep in mind that Pompliano is basically a Bitcoin maximalist. So he's highly endorsing Bitcoin, and you have to take that in consideration because you get a lot of FUD on the other coins, but ultimately the approval is a big deal for not only Ethereum itself, but other coins in the market.
owned last year. I bought Solana. It's outperformed. And so
you're now a Solana maximalist.
No. It's the second biggest position. And really the thought process is the Bitcoin position that we own, we're going to continue to hold. But there is an entire other universe there. And so the thought process being you want to be in the asset that is cheaper, faster, and likely going to receive more flows. And if you go and you look at DEX volume, right, decentralized exchanges on Solana is actually eating into the market share of on Ethereum. And so we just think there's a lot more momentum. It's a smaller market cap asset and likely to outperform.
Let's flip the screen around and show everybody Bitcoin, just where things stand right now. Curious, we sort of went up the mountain.
Just so we know that Ethereum is a blue chip coin compared to Solana. It's one of the newer cryptocurrencies, and Solana has had constant issues with outages on the blockchain. Ethereum has its issues as well, but Solana moves a lot faster, quicker, a better version, better technology, but Ethereum does have that market share and it does have that legacy, I guess, that legacy imprint in crypto. So first movers advantage, but at the same time, as this technology evolves, we look at where MySpace ended up in the social media race. We're kind of looking at the same thing with Ethereum, and that's what he's speaking to.
We went down the mountain. We're climbing the mountain again a little bit. In terms of, if this is price discovery, what do you think is really happening?
First of all, we've been doing a lot of mountain climbing over the years, so I don't think there's anything new. What I do think is happening, though, if you watch over just the last 2 weeks of Bitcoin has been very sensitive to a lot of these geopolitical or kind of uncertain moments, right? If you go back and you look at President Trump's assassination attempt, Bitcoin on the news dropped immediately. As soon as it was breaking that he was actually okay, Bitcoin ripped higher. If you go and you look last week or last weekend and you see Joe Biden going ahead and coming out and saying he's going to drop out of the race, Bitcoin, again, as soon as there was news, drops, comes right back. As soon as there's some certainty, he goes ahead and he endorses Harris. And so I think that these assets really are starting to kind of
But one thing to consider, he's right, there are impacts, but I think it's just a short-term impact when you have those type of events that take place, unless it's something catastrophic that can really cause a market to crash. But being that crypto is extremely volatile, you're going to see those 30-20% inflections, which is common. And if it's really bad, it could be 80 to 90%. So always be very careful and cautious and invest at your own discretion.
Blend the line. It used to be the crypto industry and traditional finance. Now what you're starting to get is just an overall financial market.
I don't know what you're saying there exactly.
What do you mean?
So you're saying he's out and there's a hope that maybe it would be someone more electable than Kamala Harris, and then when you find out it's Kamala Harris, it goes back up?
It's all about certainty, right? So like when there's an assassination attempt.
Not only certainty, I think what he's speaking to more is Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, the Republican Party are more pro-crypto than the Democratic Party with Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. So obviously, if Trump's alive and, kicking, what he says he's going to do for Bitcoin and the crypto industry, there's going to be a lot more confidence in the market if he's in running to be the next president. Now, on the other hand, it's the reverse. If you see something happen to somebody or you see it's favor for the Democratic Party to possibly win, then yeah, the market might take a hit because we know their regulations and how stringent they've been on crypto. So it's definitely not in our favor.
What ends up happening is the news breaks, hey, the potential president got shot. And so all of a sudden people are freaking out, prices drop. As soon as he's okay, price comes back. If you go and you look again at the announcement, hey, the current president is not going to seek re-election. There's uncertainty. What's going to happen? Who's going to
Hope you got the benefits you need from this video with the Ethereum spot ETF releasing today. Now we can look at What's happening in the market next? Are they going to include Solana, maybe Cardano, or some of these other coins, or will these be the only ones in the market? But stay tuned. If you like what you see today, click on one of these videos here. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you want to see on this channel. We're breaking news. Welcome to Night Ultra, and I'm your host again, J Mac, and have a good one.